This is the last episode with a guest of our series, Gaining from Loss. And there's something that I found that you wrote for Vogue magazine last October called How I Learned to Find Joy During Times of Grief. And the sentence that you have that sort of sets up the five areas that you talk about, I think is a great capstone for this series. Because you say this, as I've worked to manage my grief over the years, here's how I've learned to cultivate joy. I would edit that a little bit at the end of this series for the context of this series to say, as I've worked to manage my loss over the years, here's how I've learned to, I'll take out cultivate joy, and with your permission, slide in create gain from the loss.
Yes.
But here are the five things, and I want to do this. I've never done this before, so hopefully, but you've got the kind of mind I think is going to make this work out really well. I want to play this as sort of a fast money on a game show thing, where I'm going to tell you, right? I'm going to say, here's the first point that you said about this idea of how you manage grief over the years to find joy. You have 5 points, and I don't want you to have to dive too deeply into it, but the first couple thoughts that come to your head when I say, here's the first thing you wrote that you do that. And the first thing that you wrote to cultivate joy through grief and through loss, the first thing you wrote is identify what you need and take it. A couple sentences on what you meant by that.
Yes. Honestly, this gets back to what Warwick was saying about feelings. Figure out what you're feeling and then figure out what you need in order to access joy. It may be that today is just a day for you to sit with some sad feelings and let them wash over you so that tomorrow can be more joyful. Or it may be something more specific, like going to counseling. But whatever it is, figure it out and take it, because you deserve to be happy.
Excellent. Point 1 wrapped. Point 2, set boundaries and stick to them. A couple sentences on that.
Yeah, this is a big one. I think, especially with the approaching holiday season here in the States, I think it's really important, if you're having a hard time, to not force yourself into a bunch of shoulds, for lack of a more technical term, like, oh, I should do this work thing. I should go to that event. I should celebrate Thanksgiving in this kind of a way, even though I'm pretty sure it's going to make me feel like shit. So get rid of the shoulds and set boundaries around what you are and aren't comfortable doing while you're grieving.
The third point is going to sound like we've culled it from Crucible Leadership, Beyond the Crucible texts, because Warwick uses this exact phrase. It's in the new e-course that we've created. And your third point is to identify an accountability partner. What do you mean by that?
Oh, yeah, that's super important. So I don't know about the two of you, but I am really good at being hard on myself, and also sometimes not so great at doing the things that I know I need to do to care for myself. I preach about it. I talk about it all the time, but it's hard to put into practice when you have a full-time job, a new house, and a new baby. And so I have a couple of girlfriends who we hold each other accountable to do the things that we know we need to do in order to pour into our families and pour into our work. And so figure out who in your crew you can link up with, and just, be text buddies around, what are you doing for yourself today? What are your plans for the weekend? How are you making sure that you're getting the rest and the care that you need?
3/5 of the way through, the fourth point of how you live with joy after loss is celebrate something, period, anything. Talk about that.
So my mom was a big celebrations person. So I'm all about celebrating wins, even if they're teeny tiny ones. So if you're having a hard time and today you manage to both get out of bed and brush your teeth, feel free to celebrate that. It's okay. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Awesome. And one of the things that you may celebrate, because I picked this up in some of the research, you love The Godfather. So do I. So if we ever meet, we have to watch, eat some cannoli and watch The Godfather. Here's your last point. And I love this point, not only for your story, Lisa, but I'm sorry, Lisa.
That's my
I'm going to back up.
It's okay.
I know. I'm going to back up. Well, okay. I'm not going to back up. I'm just going to say,
it's okay.
Marissa, not Lisa. Um, wow, that hello, Dr. Freud. That is fast.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean,
She came
that
to
is that.
visit. Yeah.
Well, because I'm talking about her, right? And
Yeah.
that's the fifth point. The fifth point here is, and I love this for your story and for our series. Your fifth point is be a Lisa.
Yeah. So for me, Be a Lisa is all about giving back. And there is research that points to when we are in service of others, it usually does help our own mental and emotional well being. So that's when I say be a Lisa, I mean, find something you can do for somebody else.